Again, don't be a stranger if you get involved in your new districts or your new communities. But again, thank you for everything you did for District 5 and thank you. So thank you, Merry Christmas. So in their place, Trey Rios, who had been our youth advisory council member, got promoted. He's no longer in high school, so he's an out student at WSU, right? Yeah. And so he got moved up, and then our new member is Wendy Carter. Wendy, maybe you could tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
I'm Rosa with Daisy White. Going on my 13th year. I'll start my 5th year with Daisy White. I have one son who's a senior at Maine High. Very, very proud of him being on a hospital with U.S. Air Force. Any day now, and the board just let us know some things that we went to really on able to serve as capacity. Thanks to Alyssa for asking.
And then the third new person is Lamont Anderson, who lives in the Country Acres neighborhood. He is president of their neighborhood association. He has served on the library board for several years and rotated off. And I stole him, and so he'll be joining us next month. He's been serving on the Sedgwick County Advisory Council, and their last meeting is tonight. And he wanted to make sure he finished that service before he started ours. So he'll join us next month, and we'll be back to a full board. So with that, JB, I will turn it over to you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Should we get sworn in first?
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, is everybody in attendance? Is there anybody virtual that needs sworn into?
Yes, I'm virtual.
Okay, Jill. Okay. If everybody could please raise your right hand and just repeat after me. I state your name.
Jill Kirshen.
Solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States
Solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of the District 5 Advisory Board
of the District 5 Advisory Board
for the City of Wichita, Kansas, so help me God.
for the City of Wichita, Kansas, so help me God.
Okay, perfect, you guys. So you guys are all sworn in. I apologize. There's a train going by me right now, if you can hear it. So if you remember last year, I sent out a packet in the mail, and there were 2 pages that you signed and sent back in. We're going to do that again this year. So I'll get those out to the mail tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good meeting, guys.
Thank you.
That will call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda, April 5th, 2021. Motion to approve. Second. There's been a motion to approve. We have a second. All in favor, by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes for our last meeting, March 1st, 2021. Any additions, corrections, changes? None? Okay, that motion to approve. Motion to approve. Thank you, Jose. Second. Second, motion second, thank you. There's been a motion and second to approve the minutes of March 1st. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any off agenda items anyone would like to bring up? I'd like to thank Brian Kellogg doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're doing the street too in front of them. So it's they needed it. So yep, that's nice.
Do we get to discuss the ethics policy, or do we need to do
We'll
that?
get there.
Yeah, it's on.
We'll get there.
Thank
Yeah, we'll get there. Brian, would you like to give us an update?
We will discuss the ethics policy a little bit later. That's obviously been something we've been working on since 2019, and we're getting closer to finishing it up. There's going to be opportunity for more public input this month, as we'll talk about later in the agenda. This week we have a first of our budget retreats. We're starting looking at the 22, 23 budget operating, and then also the next 10-year capital improvement plan. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, 2020 is the regular picture that we look at, but certainly it'll be something that'll take a lot of time. You probably heard that we did get another round of stimulus money from the federal government, about $73 million. We're still learning all of the strings attached to that, what it can be used for, what it can't be used for. That will certainly be part of our budget discussion. I'm hoping that we can put most of it, at least half of it, towards public safety. We have 3 fire stations that are in our capital plan and 4 police substations, as well as a fire maintenance building, all told about $32 million. That if we can use some of that capital or some of that infrastructure, some of the stimulus money to offset that, that will help our debt position and obviously ramp up our public safety services. Instead of waiting 10 years for that all to get built out, I'd love to see that built out immediately. It's a one-time opportunity. Along those lines, there's also Biden's infrastructure plan that is being talked about. One of the strings attached to that, it has to be shovel-ready projects. We don't have a lot of shovel-ready projects. The only one that could possibly fit on this are the flyovers, interchanges at Kellogg and 119th, Kellogg and 135th. That's all told about $100 million, but it's designed, it's ready to go. All the frontage roads are complete, all the utilities. So it's just a matter of building the infrastructure, and we don't have the money to do that. But again, if the feds are handing it out and we can use it for that, that would get us that much further ahead. So waiting to see what happens with it. It obviously hasn't been approved yet, but it's something we're following really close. So everything else I think will probably be handled in the staff reports, but a lot of big decisions in the next few weeks.
Any money for the water treatment plant?
So water treatment plant is a year under construction already. Hard to believe. We just passed that milestone a couple of weeks ago. Everything's still on schedule and proceeding just fine. You know, we financed that at 1.17% interest. So that's locked in, that's done. We are still working on the next project, which is the water treatment plant down south, plant number 2. We're in the 5% design stage on it. We haven't applied for WIPIA financing yet or any of that, but it's not designed. So it wouldn't be part of this discussed infrastructure package from President Biden. It would be a separate deal and we'd have to get financing for it. But interest rates are still super low, and our current water and sewer rates have got all of that plugged in with projections that are very conservative. So we're proceeding along with that. We should hopefully, I think we have a screening committee meeting later this month on it, which I sit on that committee, working towards the next phase of the design. Right now we're just at 5%. So but things are going very well. There are still people that see those cranes and wonder what they are. Yeah. Wonder what we're building over there. It's great when they ask me. It's like, wow, it's been in the works for 5 years and people still don't know. Yeah. But it's good to see. So, and good to know that they're on schedule.
Any questions, Brian? Board?
Oh, Bill's here, so I probably stole a little bit of your thunder, but I know you got a different topic tonight. So.
Okay, with that, we'll go to the staff report, start with the fire.
Corey, is anyone on?
They're going to join later. They're going to do that.
Right. They have a little bit longer presentation tonight, so we should probably say that later.
Okay. How about police? I know she's here.
All right, can everybody hear me okay? Okay. I'm Officer Kimberly. I'm the 19B coordinator for the Patrol West Bureau. And just a few things. We don't have a whole lot of crime in DAB 5, but we do have a lot of complaints. Mostly motorized scooters with children. I have been getting a lot more of those lately. And also we're seeing an increase of larceny from autos and garage thefts because people leave the garage doors open because it's mowing season, so we leave our garage doors open while we're doing that. So we are seeing it just a little bit more because it's the season for that. I do know that a hot topic right now is racing, and I know that they do it out here too, and get complaints all over the place of which streets the roads are rolling down. I know that we're going to be focused on that a little bit more this summer. I know that they're looking at trying to see if there's some ordinances we can get passed that we can have a little bit more teeth, because right now we just give them a ticket and send them on the way. So they're looking at a little bit harsher punishments to see if we can address it that way, but that's still in the works. So hopefully we'll get something done soon. Our Second Chance Thursday is moving to another district. This time we're going to be April 29th, and we're going to be over at 9th and Oliver at St. Mark's Church. So we're taking our road show somewhere else to try to help people from different districts. So basically, Second Chance Thursday to get traffic warrants. If you come in, if it's just a traffic warrant, we can assign you a court date. You don't have to go to jail. You bypass that and either pay the ticket, or if it's something that you can go to court for, we just give you a court date and send you on your way. So you don't have that pressure of a warrant on you when you're out in public. I'm assigned to 19B, but I'm going to be temporarily assigned to a special unit, just temporarily, but I'll let Captain Paul Duff explain that here in just a little bit. But we're going to be addressing some crime issues on Patrol West to see if we can get those tackled. But I'll let him explain that. And that's about it. Is there any questions or concerns?
Congratulations to you on receiving that award.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, tell us what award.
I got the Salute the Badge Award last month from KWCH.
I saw it.
Yeah, got a little meal and a cool little pin to put on my uniform. That was really nice. So greatly appreciate it. So, but if there's no questions, I'll let Captain Paul Duff. He's our captain for Patrol West. He's got some statistics and stuff to get you guys. And go from there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I think our last in-person meeting, Captain Stevens came and introduced himself, and he was Patrol West commander at that time. Well, shortly after that, he got promoted. Captain Duff took over. So this is a great opportunity for him since it's our first meeting in person again. So
Yeah.
it's your show.
Okay, thank you. Introductions, Captain Paul Duff. I was downtown for a while at the Special Investigations, I was the Executive Officer Chief, and then he brought me back out here to Patrol West. I'm very thankful to come out here and do police work again, it seems like. So I've been out here for about a year, so pretty much as soon as I got there, COVID kicked in. It's kind of messed everything up. But in terms of statistics citywide, and Lori kind of brought up some of the things in this district. For us, citywide, property crimes continue to kind of go down the past 3 to 4 years. The only thing that has jumped up and spiked up is violent crime, which is 2020. 2020 is just one of those crazy years, and every city seems to have different reasons why it went up. We have lots of different reasons. We're just one cog in the system. Closing the courts didn't help. Releasing inmates didn't help. Gun laws didn't really help. The larceny of autos, when people break into vehicles, they've got guns. Bad guys now have guns. That doesn't help. So there are lots of different factors that have gone into that are very specific to Wichita. Like Lori was talking, one of the things that I'm focused on specifically right now is the motels and addiction. One of my big things is looking at data, looking at hotspots, looking at where crime locations are, trying to delve deep and identify why we have crimes in this given area, whatever that might be. There's a whole host of different reasons, and see if we can kind of figure out what's going on, see if we can do some different things to maybe help, as opposed to just arrest people and take them to jail, to kind of figure out exactly what's going on. So we're focusing a lot of the motels. We've been having lots of crimes, quite blunt about it with the motels up and down Kellogg. And for us on the west side, it's specific on the west side. So we are putting task force together to combat some of the transients. A lot of the parolees, absconders, kind of go to the frequent in the hotels. There's a lot of different crimes. Let's start from the cheaper hotels. So we're going to start looking at different things that we can do to try and reduce that crime and fear of crime that we have going on. But that being said, let's take any questions. If you have any questions for me. Yes.
Reflection Ridge has a lot of complaints on our Facebook page. People have actually been stealing cars out of driveways in our neighborhood, even though keys aren't in them. So that's a different kind of crime in that area that we've seen before. Auto theft.
Yeah.
Daylight, broad daylight. At 3 in the afternoon.
A lot of the auto thefts are being spiked up in that. The weather is normally a big reason why people are on their vehicles and everything else. In terms of, we have data on Reflection Ridge, is that correct? We can share with you. Yeah, we pulled all the data for Reflection Ridge. So, we have it right here, so we can actually talk about the data right now if you want. So, yeah, go ahead, jump in.
Just real quick, I pulled up everything from 2011 until today, and this is the numbers of the violent crimes. This is everything from stuff and up. So all the misdemeanor or miscellaneous reports, and you can look at
Yeah,
that.
it's down. It's gone down.
Yes,
Okay.
and here's the numbers.
We're just amazed at the brazen crime.
Oh, I know, and
Yeah.
it's just, you know, in certain makes and models of vehicles, they have shades. So we've seen a lot of problems with, you know, especially Hondas. For some reason, they have a universal key when it gets a certain year. So that happens. You know, and sometimes if you have those auto starts, sometimes you don't have to have a key to drag it off, but you can't restart it. So we have that too.
Okay.
And if you guys want to look at this, this is some
All right. So
information.
it's not annualized, 2021, just for the March.
Well, actually, this is all the cases from 2011 till now. So if you want to look at all of them,
Sure, but is that annualized? It's not, it's through March probably, right?
yeah, it's just per year.
Right, so 21 is through end of March.
It's till from January to today.
Okay, oh, good.
Yeah, so the latest.
So,
Right.
I mean, there's very small amount of cases. I know it seems like a lot when, especially, you know, the VW that ended up in someone's flower bed.
Yeah, we've had a lot of crime, it's really
Yeah,
weird.
but that didn't start there, it ended.
Right, and so, yeah, on the golf team.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, but you know, if you look, it's about the same
Yeah,
ever since 2001.
Yeah.
down.
So I know in 2015, we had a lot of mailbox theft, but a lot of those people were, remember that? The
Yeah.
mailbox thefts were just crazy.
Yep, this looks good. All right, thank you.
Yeah, but if you want to look that over, you can keep it. And actually, I was just at your guys' homeowners association about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, I was there too.
Okay, yeah.
There's
So there hasn't been a whole lot since then.
just to be done, the weird.
Right, but that could, I mean, it could have ended up anywhere, so.
Yeah.
It didn't start.
Thank you.
The Hondas are a big thing, actually. I remember there was, auto theft last month. We had something like 19 stolen and something like 8 or 9 of them were actually Hondas with the shade.
Okay.
So it completely skewed the numbers in
All
terms
right,
of.
I'll make it out and then talk to people about it. Great, thanks.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
You'll find both, you guys officers know that Lori's very accessible. Captain Duff is as well. So
If any of you have any questions or whatever, please don't hesitate to reach out to me as well. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Parks and Rec, Dave?
How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
David Martin, Park and Recreation. As far as our recreation things that we've got going on, we're getting ready. We're starting our registration for camp, for summer camp. So we've been doing a lot of promoting of our S&B program and our YES program across the city. So if you have kids that need to get into a summer camp and have a lot of fun, it's time to get signed up for summer camp. Junior golf, all that kind of stuff is getting signed up for as well. So spring classes are going pretty good. We had a little meeting today with Mr. Houtman and some of the guys at the recreation center. So the staff was pulling back that our classes were much fuller. So people are showing up back at the rec center, which is really cool. And so forth. And on the maintenance side of things, we're getting ready to start mowing. Can you believe that? The mowing season is here, and we issued our first contracted grounds maintenance work orders, and so next week we're going to start mowing parks. And you know, the parks sit there from November till now without any winter trash pickup because we don't have staff to go pick up winter trash. So the parks are looking really shabby. So hopefully here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, as each park gets hit, the trash gets picked up, and the parks will look better. So on the forestry side of things, we're just doing the normal, cutting down dead trees, responding to individual requests. What we do in the winter months, we go through and we cut down a lot of trees, and then we have to go back and grind all the stumps. So we started our stump grinding program, and we just we start either east and go west, or we start west and go east, and just kind of try to hit every stump that is still out there, drying those out. This winter, I don't know what that super cold weather is going to do to all the vegetation. My guess is some of your crepe myrtles and your roses in front of your house might have gotten dry, from the super cold Arctic winter that we had there for a while. I know my knockout roses don't look so good. I don't see any green on them. They look pretty dead. So some of the trees across the city could be affected from that freeze as well. We'll see what happens. So that's about all I got to report on. We've got classes going. We're taking registration for summer activities, and the normal growing cycles are getting ready to start. Not too much action in your district.
Well, we did approve the capital for the Harvest Park basketball court, right? So that basketball court's gonna be replaced, sometime this summer. I don't know what the schedule is. And then there is a need, as we're getting ready to reopen all of the pools. I understand there's a need for lifeguards.
Oh my God, yeah.
So if you have any youth, youngsters that are looking for summer jobs, all of our pools are needing lifeguards. So I guess they can go on to our website and sign up.
You bet. Yep. Go on the website. 16 and up. We need lifeguards, pool managers, that kind of thing. So we will get them trained and get them ready to lifeguard. You know, that lifeguarding, that's a tough job. It's surprising. Everybody thinks it's a cool job, but it's pretty intense when you're in charge of watching the water and kids are swimming and stuff. We try to make it so that they treat it with the utmost respect, because you have to be on top of your game. So, but yes, we need lifeguards like crazy right now.
How much is it paid?
It starts out, the middle jobs are at the 825 and up. So our manager jobs, I think they're like the $10.50 to $13 range. And they have to take a test. You know, they have to swim and give pull the weight off the bottom and all kinds of things, and swim several laps. So it's physical. You know, they have to pass the physical test.
And with the Aquatics Master Program being complete, and all the pools are going to be completely redone, there's going to be a lot of excitement. We think the attendance is going to be really strong this year.
I think the attendance is going to be up. They're going to expect for those pools to be open, and then we got the splash pads. Some of them are coming online and stuff. So it could be a fun summer. Should be a fun summer, right? All right, thanks.
That's it.
Dave, any other questions for Dave? Dave, thank you. We come back to the library. Tracy online there.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry that I can't be there with you personally today. We're a little bit lightly staffed today at the library, and so I need to be here to fill in when necessary. We reopened to in-building services on March 8th, and our in-building services, they're not full services, but I wanted to just give you a refresher on what it is that we're doing at the library. So anyone who is actually over 5 needs to wear a face mask when they come in the library, or a face shield. They are able to browse our collections, so find what it is that they want to take home, and then just take it home and enjoy it there, as compared to like reading at the actual library. We have computers for people to use. We have tables so that people can access Wi-Fi. We have removed our lounge seating so that just like sitting and enjoying books while you're here is unfortunately not available. If you are interested in like our full COVID procedures, you can actually visit our website at wichitalibrary.org/COVID-19 for full details. One of the things that we've been doing since COVID happened is virtual programs as compared to physical in-person programs. And there were a couple of virtual programs that we're doing through Zoom in April that I wanted to highlight. One is actually Senior Wednesday Music Theater Wichita. That is on Wednesday, April 14th from 1:30 to 2:30. And that is a conversation with Wayne Bryan of Music Theater Wichita. And he is going to talk about what they're doing to gear up for their 50th anniversary celebration, the challenges that they faced in 2020, etc. So it should be a really interesting program. To register for that, all you have to do is go to the library's website, go to events, locate it, and then register for it. What happens is they actually will send you the Zoom information, I believe the day before the program, and then also the day of the program, just in case you missed that notification. Another program that looks pretty interesting is a program called Tuesday Topics Police Reform. The Tuesday Topics series is a cooperation between the library and the League of Women Voters Wichita Metro. And what they do is they present two sides to challenging current event topics. And they find individuals who are really well versed in these topics and that have different viewpoints so that we can get multiple sides. And that program is actually going to be Tuesday, April 27th from noon to 1. Again, it's via Zoom. And they're going to be looking at what type of changes are being sought, and is defunding the answer? What would it mean to change the funding structure of the police department? And would that result in better policing? So it's just a candid conversation. Now, a couple of other things that I wanted to mention is we have some test taking resources that are available for individuals who are doing their preparing or doing their ACT, SAT, PSAT, AP exam, etc. We have physical resources, and then we also have I apologize, I lost my video. We also have databases, Learning Express Library, where you can actually take like virtual tests, like online tests. So that's a really cool resource. All you have to do to access that is, again, go to our website. So many things are available there at wichitalibrary.org, and go to the research tools portion and then look for Learning Express Library. Final thing that I wanted to mention is we are gearing up for our summer reading, which we are always excited to do. It's where we encourage children to read during the summer so they maintain their skills or they develop those skills. We have 3 different programs, one for birth through age 2 called Baby Bookworms, one for ages 3 to 11, which is called Kids Read, and then one for 12 to 18-year-olds called Teens Read. And early registration for those programs actually starts Monday, May 17th, but true participation, where you start logging your time or your activities, starts Tuesday, June 1st. And does anybody have any questions? And I will try to understand them, but I'm going to tell you, I've been having trouble with the audio, with hearing everything that you guys were actually saying in your meeting. Brian, you could hear really, really well. And Jill's giving thumbs up because she agrees.
Yeah, we've got some more to figure out on this, but it'll get better. So I do want you to see that all squares are filled.
Did you get it?
Yep.
I'm so proud of you. And I will let you know, I have a medal for you. I have a trophy for you. And so now I'm just going to have to find out what book you want it added to the library's collection in your name. So I will be emailing you about that. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because everybody that's on the board, you have through the end of July to earn a fabulous medal and trophy. Medal for a bingo, trophy for blackout. Jill almost looked like she was like getting behind it, or she might be saying, I'm not doing that. Okay, but hopefully all of you will participate and get bingos, blackouts, so that we can add books to the library in your honor. Okay.
Thank you, Tracy.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't see anybody from the fire yet.
No, they're probably still not with us.
So just go ahead and receive and file.
I think we still have Public Works. I think Sean's on.
Public Works. Okay.
Is that Sean? Sean, are you on for Public Works?
I think next.
Well, but isn't that Rebecca's his wife?
I'm Sean's wife, but I'm not on for Public Works. He's on DAB 1 right now.
Okay. Well, then you're right. We're doing Public Works on a quarterly report basis. The 2 big things I think probably most interested in, 13th Street from 119th to 135th still has the final asphalt overlay that needs to get laid down, and then striping, and then plantings. Been waiting for the warmer weather. It should get done this month. Looks like that's on schedule. The street lights at 37th and Tyler are operational. And then we took the flashing stop signs and moved them to 29th and 119th. That was a four-way stop. It's still a four-way stop. At least now it has flashing lights there to help make it safer. Because there's a lot of high school traffic that goes up to Mays Road. So that was a good repurpose of that. The stoplight at Hoover and Zoo is still in the works. I understand the equipment's here. It's K&O, the railroad, that's taking a little bit longer working through them to get that crossing in place. But those are the major road project stuff. I mean, obviously this is the time of year where we do a lot of asphalt and repair stuff, but don't have any other big projects in the works for District 5 right now. So that's why we kind of moved them to quarterly, because they didn't have a lot of new stuff to report each month. So that's really it, unless you had something specific, like you talked about with the Kellogg and Ridge Road issue. So if you see anything, obviously, let me know. Shoot me an email. Potholes are a normal way of life right now. But, there's one more stoplight that we're working on getting petitions for, and that's at Ridge Road and roughly K96 where that quick trip got put in. There's a lot of development activity happening right there with the new JP Wygand office, some other things that haven't been announced. So it definitely is justified. We're just trying to get all of the surrounding property owners to join in paying for it. So, get done.
Okay. We go ahead and receive the file ones we got.
Yeah, and then when we get to the fire, we'll let them join us.
Okay, if we have time. Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to receive the file and staff report? So moved. Thank you. Second. Thank you, Rachel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. New business. Go with Kathy Morgan, MAPD. Matt?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's actually Matt Williams here tonight for Kathy.
Okay.
We just have one request for you. This is conditional use 2021 number 11. This is a conditional use request to allow an electric substation. And this is about 1,200 feet east of Ridge Road on the south side of 13th. So this is just to the south of Sedgwick County Park. The new electrical substation is going to provide service to the Northwest Water Treatment Plant on North Hoover. The city acquired this property in December of 2019 in order for this to be developed as the electrical substation. Across the street to the north is Sedgwick County Park. To the south, kind of east and west of the site is SF5 single-family residential neighborhoods. The zoning code classifies an electrical substation as a utility major, and utility majors require conditional use in all locations. The future growth concept map from the comprehensive plan does identify this area as a mix of industrial, commercial, and residential uses. And because the new electrical substation is going to help increase capacity for the Northwest Water Treatment Facility, and that will obviously be very important for the city and its ability to grow, this does conform with our plans and policies. Associated with this is going to be a variance request that requests some reductions of setbacks and a little bit taller of a screening fence than is normally allowed. But tonight, the case we're just presenting to you is the conditional use, and I'd be happy to answer any questions about it.
Not to interrupt, didn't we already have a presentation?
Yes, that was for the acquisition of the property. This is, and the zoning. This allows us now to put a conditional use overlay on top of it to use it as a substation. Bill Perkins is here from Public Works and Utilities, he's the project manager. He's probably better to answer any questions.
It's really everything you said, we've already heard one. Right?
True. This being the conditional use
Yeah.
overlay.
I guess, is there anything new we haven't heard?
I think so. Bill? Yeah.
Everything we did and nothing changed. That was just part of our preparation. Okay. I guess maybe we could just open it for questions. If we have questions on it.
Yeah, you guys have all seen the design, the placement. It's just, this is that last piece of it we got to make happen.
Okay.
And has it been to MAPC yet?
No.
On the 8th. Okay. So we'd be looking for an approval.
Approve it.
For the, yeah, approve the staff recommendation.
Okay. No one has any more questions on that. We're here. Maybe we can just go ahead and move it.
There's no public comment.
Are you okay with that? Any public comment on the substation?
Yeah, this is a different piece of it.
Okay. A motion, we approve the request as presented by staff. Second. Okay. There's been a motion and second to approve it. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
And we will move on to the proposed city council ethics policy. We do that now.
You want to go to her next?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Chief, would you like to make a short presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Everybody's good? Okay. Well, good evening. I'm Chief Snow. And who I have with me tonight is I have Chief Alan Gaddis and also Chief Eck. Chief Eck may be presenting to your DAB on a periodic basis. Well, I'm hoping in the future, want to try to get a handle on some of the inquiries and some of the concerns of the citizens. So dedicate one staff member to be your liaison to try to improve efficiency. So with that, then we'll go ahead and get started. Back in December, made a presentation about a pilot program that we had initiated in late September. And I want to be very clear. I hear a lot of inquiries about the budget or about that pilot program being a result of budgetary issues, and that is not a true statement. The reason why that we initiated that pilot program was based on we're the only public safety agency that addresses fires. So fires is at the top of our goals to contain them, to be safe. That's our number one goal. We recently took a look as we continue to evaluate ourselves, and we took a look at our truck out there, truck 4 that is currently stationed at station 16. And the reason why, how long it sits out on the scene by itself and what its functions are. We got data that said that it sometimes sits there in excess of 10 minutes without getting any kind of backup. And the functions that it presents is to make a safer environment, not only for the occupants, if they happen to still be trapped people inside of a building, but also for our people to lift those nasty smoke and gases and fire off of them. As we look at that, we also began to watch the volume of calls at station 16 and the volume of calls at station 17, and they began to decrease. And so with that, we decided we would try taking squad 17 off, place an additional person on engine 17 and place additional person on the back of the truck. That would allow the truck to have 4 members, meaning that they could split their crews and start their critical fireground task. That was the premise behind it. With having 4 on engine 17, it also allows them to address critical task immediately, fireground task, without waiting on another unit. We have best practice of 2 in, 2 out, meaning that 2 people can't go inside a house unless there's 2 people as a backup team on the outside of a house. That addressed both needs. It's currently under evaluation. That squad still remains in our fleet because if data down the road tells us or service degradation down the road tells us that we need to put that squad back on. We have it in our fleet to do so. So it has nothing to do with budget. So I wanted to address that first. The other thing is we've been working since we implemented this program. Chief Gaddis has been working on a dashboard. What this dashboard will do is it provides, it's live information. It's updated on a daily basis. So with that, in just a few minutes, I'm going to have him show that dashboard so you can see it's a pretty powerful tool. But in between time, I wanted to give you, we always present the FIU data from the month of March or the month before. So I wanted to present DAB 5's information. And DAB 5, you had one fire in the month of March, and that happened to be on March the 9th. And it was in the 400 block of North Westfield. It was an accidental fire. It caused about $140,000 worth of damage. And it was based on a vehicle that ran into a house and then caught on fire. So that's the FIU report for the month. And then I'm going to turn it over to Chief Gaddis. Hopefully he can share a screen with you and show you the information that you normally get and what he's done with this tool. So with that, Chief Gaddis.
Give this a try. Hey, I think it worked. Maybe not. How about now?
Very good.
Perfect. All right, as Chief Snow had mentioned, we want to try to create a dashboard that had live data on it and could be presented by the battalion chiefs to the DABs each month and give you a little bit more information than you are currently getting. So this first page is the same thing that you were getting before. It had the fire alarms, it had medical alarms, had the service alarms, and also had other. We didn't report this before, so which will give you the total incidents. It has the ability that battalion chief will be able to go, if we want to go back to March of 2020, there's the numbers for that. And can stretch it out over a year time even. It takes it a minute and it will.
Chief, you might need to speak up a little bit more, please.
Sure, yeah. So this, we can stretch this out over year time, or any time that we're wanting to look at different numbers between years. That other category that you hadn't seen before, these are some of the categories that fall into each one of those categories, in case you're wondering. And then I'll let Chief Snow talk a little bit about the fire down on Yellowstone, and then we'll go through a little bit more of what's in this dashboard.
I wanted to give you, I've had some inquiries about Brush 17. It's a wildland type of brush truck. It's specifically designed for wildland type fires, grass fires, that type of thing. And they wanted to know, when do we put it on track and when don't we put it on track? We base that, we make a daily decision on that, and it's purely based on the weather and it's based on the grass fire index. So if we're getting critical fire conditions, since that's our primary response is to address fires, then we'll put Brush 17 on track. And we do that through a variety of different options. Sometimes we call people back in to put it on track. Sometimes our staffing allows us to actually put it on track with what we have on duty that day. Also received several inquiries about the house fire down on the 2600 block of South Yellowstone. That's primarily in Station 17's primary response area. But I wanted to give you the facts on that so that there's no misconceptions there. Engine 16, first of all, Engine 17 was out assisting the county on a lines down. On that particular day, we had Brash 17 in Station 17. We had Engine 16 and Truck 4 had just finished a systems alarm over on West Maple. They had turned around and were headed back to Station 16. They were heading east on Maple when at 5:22 in the afternoon, Truck 4, since it was ahead of Engine 16, was dispatched to a smoke detector in the 2500 block of South Yellowstone. 1 minute later, the engine was then dispatched to a house fire. Truck 4 was the first unit to arrive on scene. It confirmed that there was they saw flames and smoke. They also noticed the weather conditions being high winds, and they asked for additional resources at that time. So within 4 minutes, which our ICMA and also our National Fire Protection Agency recommends that we have the first unit on scene within 4 minutes, we did in this case. And it also recommends both those two standards, those performance standards say that we need to have between 14 and 15 people on scene within 8 minutes. Within 8 minutes, we happen to have 20 people on scene. So we exceeded both of those performance measures that particular day. But that's the entire story about why Engine 16 was where it was and why Truck 4 was, and our response times. So with that, then I will turn that back over to Chief Gaddis to finish showing you his tool.
So for the rest of this, what we wanted to do was show a little bit about how our stations, you know, if one station's out, another station has to come and cover that area for them. It's nothing that it's unusual. That happens on a daily basis. It happens with other fire departments, police departments, EMS. It's the way you have to operate. So on this one, it has the districts here on the side, and it also has our total alarm numbers over here on the bottom. This is by district, and then we can pick by station of which districts they're making alarms in. So we did the same thing here, but we did it by response area. So if we look at either station 17 or station 16, we can tell that station 16 made 160 alarms out of the 208 that were made in their answering area. Station 8 made 22, station 21 made 9. But as you can see, the across the board with all of our stations, it's a wide variety, a mix of different stations, with even some county stations coming in different places. But we made this to show how the movement is throughout the city. We also wanted to look at the county alarms, how many times city units were responding to county alarms. In March, we did 202 units made alarms out into the county. This is Sedgwick County, this is Hayesville, this is Bel Air, Goddard, Mays, and Park City. The opposite also is true, that the county sent 331 units into city alarms during that same month. But that's where we are now with the dashboard. The battalion chiefs will be able to share this each month, and they can cruise through it. They can switch the months so you have different data to compare, but that's where it is currently.
So with that, our point is that, you know, we wanted to reveal how transient we are throughout the whole city, not just in one area. It's how we operate everywhere throughout the city. And we do realize we have gaps. We have secured the funding to purchase some software that's supposed to be cutting edge software. It's very robust software. It not only is based on a historical data, it also will predict potential future conditions. It's based on development, what it predicts on, it'll forecast out development, it'll tell us what our resiliency will be. As we move things around, it deals with not only just station locations, but staffing, apparatus assignments, scheduling. It'll even help us with some dispatching as far as policies there and so forth. So very excited about getting that. It's in the final stages. But like Chief Gaddis said, you know, we're transient. There'll be times in which it's the way that we do business, and we're not on an island, you know, as far as a public safety agency. The way we do business is there'll be times in which people mitigate to an alarm, and there'll be a gap until we can get units to backfill them there. But that's the reason why we're part of a system. You know, we rely on EMS, we rely on the county, rely on law enforcement to assist us on those types of things. So with that, then I'll stand for questions.
Any questions for Chief Snow? No? Thank you, Chief.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
when-
you.
When Chief Snow and Chief Gaddis showed this to me late last month, I was very excited about it because obviously it's a lot more detail drill down than we get usually every month. And being able to track which station is doing, helping cover, very helpful as it, we're looking at where we need to staff and place fire stations. So, and also the county mutual aid stuff too. There's a lot of a misconception that that's all we do and that they never help us. Well, obviously you saw that's not the case. So there's a lot of cooperation, a lot of work between the two agencies. So it's good to see the data. And again, it's very easily to sort through and you can get lost in it, but it's good to see. And, we know that most of the calls are medical calls, and that's what we're seeing.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thanks for your good work.
Stay safe out there, these winds.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I think we probably need a motion to receive and file that too.
Some
Motion to, second? Second, then a motion to receive and file the fire report. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we'll proceed to the proposed city council ethics policy.
Corey, am I doing this or are you?
Technically, Megan pre-recorded her voice on a PowerPoint.
Okay. You have it?
Yeah, let's see if we can hear it. Hold on. So let me share my.
The City Council is dedicated to adopting a transparent ethics policy to best establish a guide for ethical behavior and ethical governance. The Council has been working with community partners and the National League of Cities to help draft the strongest possible policy. The goal of the policy is to promote public confidence in elected and appointed leaders by establishing a consistent, transparent ethical standard of conduct and assist leaders with ethical decision-making. The policy would apply to both elected leaders and appointed boards, including district advisory boards. The policy includes guidelines for avoiding conflicts of interest, regulations on the receipt of gifts, standards to encourage impartial decision-making, establishment of an independent ethics advisory board, requirement for ethics training, whistleblower protection guidelines, and more. After gathering public feedback, the policy will go back to Council for a final workshop in April before being slated to be adopted in May. The full draft policy can be read on wichita.gov. The Council wants your input on the proposed ethics policy. You can provide input at District Advisory Board meetings, by sharing your thoughts via the city's social media, or by emailing council members. Contact information for each council member can be found on wichita.gov. Please weigh in and help us make the City Council ethics policy the best it can be.
Okay, well, I think you were able to read along with most of it. You weren't able to hear it all. I think you all got that PowerPoint as well, correct? Okay, good. So the main takeaway tonight is, if you don't have anything that you want to say tonight, if you wanted to email me certain elements or the questions, that'd be great. Specifically relates to that last slide. We've had several workshops on this already. Again, we're going to continue to get input this month and next. There'll be another ethics workshop at the end of the month, and then hopefully come to the council for approval in May. So there's still time to give us feedback on the pieces of it. Some of the big issues have been the ethics advisory board. Who makes up that, who leads it. Then also the whistleblower protection guidelines, making sure that no one's going to get penalized or punished for coming forward. And then just definitions, what constitutes a friend, what's the level of a gift, etc. Again, we've been working on this in 2019, and it's been a long road. Certainly, some of the policies that we've had, we've just been following state guidelines, but there hasn't been anything on a local level. This puts it more in our court and makes it more powerful, we believe. Again, certainly needed, time for it. And then it would also dovetail down to appointments as well. So there would be not only council level, but this board, park board, planning commission is probably the one that people get the most concerned about because they're making zoning cases, decisions, and so forth. And park, obviously, because they have land that they can sell. So, so it'd be more than just the council, it'd be at the different levels as well. But again, unless someone has something specific they want to address tonight, study it, look at it, feedback, any questions or concerns. We want to do this right. We really have been taking our time. We didn't want to rush to something that was just going to have to get redone. We want to make sure that we're doing it right, and being very thoughtful, hearing from as many different people as possible. NLC, the National League of Cities, has helped us. They've weighed in on some elements of it and made us think about some different things. We've worked with Ed O'Malley at the Kansas Leadership Center as well, and then also the state ethics group. So all council members have been involved. No one has pushed back on this. It's just different elements that we've been, wanting to do it right. So,
any questions for the board?
Brian, I might ask, I think this is separate but related, right? So we know campaign finance law is regulated by the state. When I think of ethics complaints, right, you often hear the perception of an official maybe unduly influenced by a potential, campaign donor. As it stands now, is there any disclosure requirement from the state to say so-and-so companies involved in the potential bid process or a business decision?
No.
Okay.
No. And again, so campaign ethics reform is a different piece that has to be dealt with separately.
Right.
My first year on council, we allowed PACs and businesses to make campaign contributions.
They changed it.
The council changed that. I voted against it. I was the only Republican, and we're nonpartisan, but I voted against it because I said, and I was put in the paper, corporations shouldn't decide, people should. And so that has been in place now for 5 years. I don't know if we attack that next, that might come out and it might go back to just individuals, but that's separate from this. Now, I will tell you that I have always practiced that if there has been an issue before the council that had a donor that had given to me, I've disclosed it voluntarily. And I know other council members have as well. We've at least disclosed the relationship, right? Now, some of these donors that I've had in my campaigns, I've been friends with before they were developers, right? Before they ever brought this project. So that's kind of what we have to decide also, what constitutes a friend, what constitutes et cetera. And so that's where we're working on as well right now. But campaign ethics, finance has got to be a different thing that we tackle next.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Not hearing none.
How do you want me to address you all? Stand up?
No,
sit
you
down?
can
You stand up.
That's fine.
We will give you 4 or 5 minutes.
Give us your name.
Yeah, name and address.
Celeste Reset, 2239 North Teton Court, Reflection Ridge. Campaign reform is needed next because not all city council members disclose their campaign contributions. And it's easy to find that on the Sedgwick County election website. And you can see where they've gotten the same LLC address over and over and over again, amounting to thousands of dollars for those developers. So I had to address that first. Just so you know who I am a certified internal auditor. I was a chief internal auditor for many years in banking and accounting officer. And a certified internal auditor means I had to take a pretty tough exam and pass 4 parts. I worked for the FDIC as a bank examiner and a fraud investigator. So when I talk to you, I'm talking to you as an expert in ethics. I did white collar crime investigation. And when you don't have an ethics policy, you are leaving the door wide open to fraud. And it angers me that being a native Wichitan, we don't have an ethics policy, and it's taken us still dragging on 2 years to get one. It's inexcusable. Here's the things I'm going to point out that I think still need to be addressed in this ethics policy. You've got to have a clear definition of words, such as to encourage impartial decision-making. What does encourage mean? Does that mean you can't accept a gift? When I was with the FDIC, I couldn't accept as much as an iced tea, let alone a lunch. Does a gift mean someone who gets HOA fees excused because they're in the same condo as the developer? We've got that situation right now. Does that mean that they can't accept lunch, dinner, golf trips? That needs to be clearly defined, and it hasn't been yet. I haven't seen that definition yet. The establishment of an independent ethics advisory board. Who's going to be the composition of those board members? How are they going to establish independency and accountability? Requirements for ethics training that better be mandatory. If you don't take your training, you should get off the board immediately. And I mean that, mandatory training. Whistleblower protection guidelines. It's key with the whistleblower hotline that wherever that call goes has to be an independent person held accountable to a group. The results of that whistleblower investigation need to go to an independent board, not to City Manager Layton. City Manager Layton right now has a lot of power, and I don't mind saying that. I'm beholden to nobody here. The internal auditor that they used to have, she no longer works for the city. So you're violating right now the city of Wichita, their administrative regulations, because there is no internal auditor for the city of Wichita. And that means there's no independent review of contracts over $150,000. That's inexcusable. So keep in mind, you've got to have independent whistleblower protection. I'm not really sure exactly who is monitoring this ethics policy and establish these definitions. I know you put a lot of faith, Brian, in this National League of Cities, but I just checked their website, and when I did a search on ethics, ethics policy, ethics code, I got one article. So I'm wondering what their background is in ethics, what their background is in auditing, internal controls, and whistleblower protection. Okay,
Just to be clear, I did not seek them out.
Okay,
They came to us via 2 other council members. So I have questions as well.
Who were the council members who?
Whipple and Johnson.
Okay. All right, I'll pose that question for them then. You also need to have penalties, because this is worthless if there are no penalties. That means if you find out later that there was a city council member who was a friend of a developer who did get public land free without any competition for that land, there needs to be penalties for that interest not being disclosed. And I mean losing their job. Seriously, you need to have these consequences defined from minor infractions, like not reporting on a small meal or an iced tea, for example, all the way up to HOA fees excused, got a discount on a condo, and then they gave public land away for a development, let's say in Riverside or some other area. They got to lose their job. That's a serious violation. That's a clear conflict of interest, and it must be disclosed. I'm serious about this. This was my job for 25 years. I'm experienced in this area. Brian, this is one of the most serious things you'll do. Campaign reform's got to come next, because when they changed the campaign laws, that opened the doors to companies, LLCs, that made these campaigns for city council run into thousands and thousands of dollars. James Clendenden is the one who brought that forward to city council, and I don't mind saying his name. We've got to do a lot of changes. You guys have an important responsibility, and I'm glad to see that the boards will also be held accountable. Mandatory training. So I'll be watching. I'm telling you, I'm going to watch all the step of the way with this ethics policy, because that's my background. It's a serious responsibility. And the city is a lot of money, and only one person in some cases is actually approving these invoices, and that worries me seriously. Any questions for me? All right. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks for your input.
I think I got all of your stuff too, but you take minutes, so, but I kept giving it.
If you need my business card, I bring some with me. All right, thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Thank you.
I had my eye on that.
Just ruined it.
Can you get the lights, Dennis, please? Got dark quick.
They finally see it.
Whoa. Wow.
Okay.
So yeah, if you would, feedback, anything in there that you see. We have had a very loose policy, right? And that's one of the reasons that James Clendenin's out, because he faced ouster because of the way the policy was written. And the Sedgwick County DA was going to press charges. So it did work. It needs to be strong. We all agree on that. So no one's fighting this. It's just we all want to do it right and not have to come back. And we're going to review it every year, but we want to try and get it as right as possible out of the box.
So to that point, in its current incarnation, I know it's linked online, you feel that the draft is stronger?
It is. I still think there's a little bit of concern about who leads the independent body and how that person is selected. The Ethics Review Board, the way it's designed right now, it would be done randomly out of, let's say there's a case that's brought forward, a complaint. Then they would pick all of the different districts a random name from the appointment positions. So out of District 5, they'll put all of my different appointees, this body, Board of Park, planning, etc., and pick one name. It could be Trevor. And they'll go to District 4 and they'll do the same thing, and so on and so forth. And then that group of individuals would hear that case, but there would be a ethics chair who leads that, and that is the critical person. And that's going to be real tough to find, because you don't want to have to find somebody new every time, right? You want to have some consistent. Now, we're hoping that everyone's on their best behavior. There's not a lot of complaints, so this doesn't happen a lot, but we want to get it right. And again, same thing where there's a question about somebody on the DAB, same process. So one of you might get selected at some point to be on that review of that issue, but that's cleaner than trying to find a pure of heart board that stands the test of time. It's almost impossible.
I think you had an application tonight, Chair.
Yeah, I think she's angry.
Are you confident in the schedule, like next month adoption?
Yeah, I think we've been through it so much now, and we are getting into some nuances that we definitely need to put a pin on. And I agree with a lot of the stuff that she said. There's no doubt better definitions on some of these things. Finding that body of people that can fill in. We've got board position, mandatory training, whistleblower. I mentioned these at the beginning, right? This is not new. So I think we're very close. Yeah.
So would every complaint go to the ethics board?
Not necessarily.
Who would be the one? Would it be the head just to say whether or not it goes to the board?
That's what we need to figure out as well.
Because I can see there'll be a lot of.
Right. What merits frivolous versus review? And is that one person making that determination? That's what we got to figure out as well. So
And this is an interesting boys question. Should there be a penalty if somebody were to abuse the complaint process, right? It's sort of inundate.
exactly.
That's kind of what we're on.
Yep. That's the other part of that, to try to keep it from being just frivolous and a constant churn of activity that's not necessary. So it's got to go both ways. Yeah. Cool. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Brian, thank you. With that, we will adjourn.
Yep. And again, we'll work out the kinks, but hopefully next month we won't even have to have masks. So we'll see.
Yeah.
2 masks next month.
Oh, that's right, so they're still required in all cities and villages, right?
Correct.
That's the current-
Yeah, we're following CDC guidelines.
Right?
You know, how much longer that lasts, I don't know. You know, obviously, the vaccine getting rolled out better.
How many people have gotten the vaccine?
First shot.
I'm in between, I'm happy with it.
Between? Get yours?
No, I'm not essential.
It's open to everybody.
You're over 15, so.
Everybody else? Is that good?
I'm not-
Trevor? No? You're against it?